I love you, Naruto.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the beginning of the end. In my last video, we talked about Pain's Assault. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 Kage Summit as we look forward to the future in the beginning of the 4th Great Shinobi War. But I'm going to ahead of myself. We're going to be talking about episodes 197 to 222 of Naruto Shippuden. And seeing as we're talking about the 5 Kage Summit, you can probably guess I got some opinions I want to share. So let's get into the good and the bad of the 5 Kage Summit. If I had to briefly describe what this arc is, I would describe it as it's Sasuke running the gauntlet against some of the world's strongest ninja. And boy, that is a lot of fun. This arc is just full to the brim with a lot of fights, including some interesting matchups. Like we got Sasuke going up against the behemoth that is the Raikage. This man has to utilize literally every trick in his arsenal just to survive against such a ninja. And like for even then, I don't know if he would have been able to survive without the intervention of Gaara. So having been with Sasuke from the very beginning up until now, it is actually wild to see how much he's grown in that time. And yet there's still more he needs to do. There's still a few more rungs on this ladder he needs to climb up. But of course, it doesn't just stop there, because we also got him briefly fighting the likes of the Mizukage and the Tsuchikaze, all of whom are very formidable foes in their own right. And all of this simply because Madara wants to test Sasuke. Now that we've gotten to the point where Pain is out of the picture, Madara really is like, he's the guy. Like he's the main threat that everybody's having to deal with now. And he's really putting his name on the map as he shows up here at the 5 Kage Summit, declaring all-out war against all of the nations, all of the shinobi nations, just so that he has a means of trying to acquire the last 2 of the Jinchuriki, those being the 8 and the 9 tails. So the stakes have naturally grown quite large as we now have the return of Madara Uchiha, one of the most legendary ninja of all time, declaring war so that he can get his hands on what this world's equivalent of weapons of mass destruction are. And everybody's having a bad time. Now, that's looking kind of long term. Like, we got a lot of setup for the Shinobi War here. Let's bring it back a little bit, though. Let's talk a little bit about Danzo. What a bastard. And rightfully, the honor of taking down this man goes to our boy Sasuke. As we learn, the Danzo really was like the main contributing factor in getting the Uchiha clan wiped off the map. Like, he's the one that approached Itachi, trying to get him to be the one to do the dirty deed. Oh god! And then we find out that he then collected all of the special eyes from the Uchiha and just like transplant them into his body. So he's just this weird, messed up Frankenstein with like a dozen Sharingan eyes on his body. It's weird, but it's so satisfying at the same time, because like we have this dude, he's out here, he's using cheat codes, he's hacking the game, and Sasuke is still able to outsmart him, outwit him, and get the victory. So yeah, seeing him meet his end, so good to see. Now, as I like to do in these videos, let's shift gears a little bit and start talking about a few of the things that I was not a particular fan of. And let's put it simply, my biggest gripe of this arc, as you might have guessed from the intro, was Sakura. Oh boy, where do I even begin? Throughout all of these reviews, I have always tried to give Sakura the benefit of a doubt. I knew going into Naruto that she got a lot of flack from the community, and I always wanted to try and find the best things about Sakura and try to shine a light on those. But man, this arc really broke me. It has made me turn into a full-blown Sakura hater. So let's talk about some of the stuff she does. The first thing is she tries to manipulate Naruto. She go without saying that at this point they'd consider each other friends. Yet Sakura uses this knowledge that she knows that Naruto once had a crush on her, or so kind of does to an extent, and tries to use that for her own gain. So she goes up to him. She's like stroking his ego. It's like, oh man, you know, I just realized I was so blinded by Sasuke. You are the real one that I love. You know, you're the coolest, most badass ninja in the village. Thank God, you know, for as naive as Naruto can be sometimes, even he saw through the bullshit, was like, girl, stop. You are making yourself look absolutely pitiful in this situation. Then she just doubles down. She keeps on lying. She's like, no, what? No, I'm not. No, Naruto, I'm for real. I'm serious. And to think this was like this master grand plan that she had been thinking about for days on how to execute. And this is the best she got? Girl. God, her stupidity doesn't even stop there, because as soon as the whole Naruto thing doesn't work, she immediately goes to her backup plan, and she's like, all right, Kiba, Sai, we're gonna go stop Sasuke. Now keep in mind, this is like after she found out that Sasuke had defeated Orochimaru and had joined the Akatsuki. What are you guys gonna do? You have like a 0% chance of beating this man. But no, Sakura, in her attempt to be like, all right, let's stop Sasuke. You know, it's my fault that he's this way. You know, let's stop. She's out here trying to get her friends killed. And like, I know narratively she's only a teenager, so she's naturally gonna be more prone to making like rash, illogical decisions and stuff. But man, it is so frustrating having seen her try to pull off these idiotic stunts over the course of multiple episodes. And to bring up another gripe I had, this one's definitely much less of an issue, but I did find some of the pacing of the later episodes in this arc to like really slow down and come to a screeching halt. Like, we get this big moment where like we have Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and even Kakashi like all meeting at that one location and like talking about all the issues that they've had with each other and trying to come up to an understanding, maybe on a way to stop the bloodshed. But like, man, there's just so much repetitive, repeated information here. So many people like saying one thing, and then like we cut back to some of the other people. We cut back to the first person, and they like say the exact same thing over again. It's just like, guys, like what is happening to the pacing of the show? We could have taken those last like 5 episodes and cut it down to like 3. But like I've said it many times before, I'm obviously a big One Piece fan, so I can take a little bit of a slower pacing from time to time. But even this was like, it's kind of pushing it for me. With that said, though, I know I really kind of just went on a little bit of a tangent, but I did like this arc. And I think there's more good to it than bad. Up to this point, Sasuke has been one of, if not my absolute favorite character of the show. And this whole arc is just him really flexing and showing off what he's capable of. And it continues to build on the fracturing of the original Team 7, which really is like one of the emotional cores of the show at this point. Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, all of them having their differences and trying to come to grips with the fact that the injury is different now. And I can't understate this, but like, it was so satisfying to see Danzo be defeated. But really, it's mainly all of Sakura's stupidity that holds this arc back from being one of the best in my book. That was just painful to watch. And then, like I said, the pacing at certain points slowed down more than I would have liked, and it just kind of lost me a little bit. Yeah, overall, I do feel pretty positive about the 5 Kage Summit, so it will be a little bit on the higher end of the tier. I'll put it up here. So I'm going to ask you guys now, what did you think of the 5 Kage Summit? Is it awesome? Is it not? Let me know down in the comment below. You know, I've actually been on a little bit of a hiatus from watching the show. I finished watching this material while I was still like in the middle of writing my thoughts on the Pain Assault arc. So Yeah, for like the past like 2 months, I have not actually watched an episode of Naruto, and I'm actually kind of excited to be getting back to that here very shortly once I am done recording this and get it posted for you guys online. So yeah, if you are excited to watch me dive into this upcoming Shinobi War, don't forget to subscribe for more Naruto reviews. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Be good people. I'll catch you in the next one.